Evening, everybody.
Has an
Here we are. I know there's been some changes, but it depends who you are, right? You've seen from your neighbors, whoever's seen some tanks, whoever's seen other opportunities to get sanitized and so on. Unfortunately, that's not all of you that are in that boat. There is work to be done in order to try to get everybody where we want you to be. I wish we could go faster. I'm not unhappy. These guys are working hard, but I wish we could go faster for you guys. I know I was getting a whole lot of phone calls before. It seems to have lessened. The ones that I know that I've gotten tanks have no longer started calling me or continued to call me. I don't know if it's because you're over it, you're done. There's a lot of emotion still out there, and that's very understood. I represent you in this county for District 2. I don't want to gloat about what these folks are doing. I just know that I see them still here at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock at night because they're working, trying to get things accomplished and prepared, and over the weekend as well. If you're angry, please aim it towards me. I want to talk to you. I want to help you. I want to pass that information. I want to be the connector because I don't want anyone else to feel down from the work they're doing because I know they're trying really hard. We want to hear from you today. This is an opportunity not just to learn and get an update. I'm looking forward to learning a little bit more about our water table and the future plans. But I want to make sure that you get heard, that you're able to express yourselves. But again, please come to me if you're frustrated. I want to help connect you to the right folks because that's what I need to do while I wait for those people to do their jobs on their end. I want to be that shield and that medium. So please, if you don't have my number already, get my number, talk to me. Lastly, I did get an update from the Hubbardston Upper Lake Pomo Indians who allowed the extension of the Running Creek Casino cards to go all the way till the end of the month. If you still have your cards, please know that you can use them. If you have not gotten a card, please come and see me. I still have some cards as well. So please come and see me today. And that has been extended to the end of the month. And I want to make sure that you receive that. It doesn't solve your problems, but it gives you a little bit of at least respite for a moment. And with that, I'm going to pass it to Under Sheriff, who is no longer acting as sheriff because we have our sheriff Bingham in the back, the Under Sheriff Corey Pollich.
Thank you. I see a lot of familiar faces from last week. And if you weren't here last week, I just want to introduce myself, Corey Pollich, I'm the Undersheriff, also Deputy Director of County OES and the county's incident commander for this incident, working in unified command with the city. We're going to do a few introductions here. We didn't do that last week, but we want to do it at the beginning so everyone knows who we are up here.
Good evening. My name is Leah Saudelay. I'm the Office of Emergency Services Manager with the Lake County Sheriff's Office.
Evening, my name is Ben Moore. I'm a lieutenant with the Sheriff's Office, and I'm your Deputy Incident Commander.
And from the Sheriff's Office side, we have Lauren somewhere, our PIO. She must have stepped out, but she's here also.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alan Flora, City Manager for the city and Incident Commander on the city side.
Hello, I'm Tristan Hayes. I'm the Public Works Construction Project Manager and the Planning Section Chief.
Hi, I am Adeline Viva, Public Works Director, operating as the Operations Section Chief.
Craig Weatherby, Lake County Environmental Health Director.
So I'll kind of start and give you kind of an update from where we have, from last week to where we are today. Some of our goals that we kind of talked about last week and where we went with those. So if you remember last week, we talked about our goal was to get everyone in that zone A1 spill area a tank who needed it. And we were able to do that. We also believe that we were able to get tanks for everyone in the B1 area that needed them. So that was expanded more than we thought we could do for them. We talked last week about doing the testing and how we were going to try and test the whole area once a day so we could try and get those zero detect tests and get people released. After doing some analysis of the data and consulting with Dr. Dodd, who was going to give a presentation, a pathologist. With that information, we determined that it was not a good idea at that point. Even if you got a 0-0 test, there could be the possibility of a reoccurrence. So we don't want to take that chance. So that's why we kind of abandoned that plan. And also our testers there's a lot that goes into taking those samples. You guys have probably seen a lot at your house. It's not just go up and, take a test and take off. It takes time. So trying to do that just wasn't possible. And then also we expanded our area because of those test results, and looking at the aquifer and consulting and seeing how that everything was moving was a little different than we thought in our heads. So we wanted to expand that area to make sure we notified anyone with a well in that area that could possibly be affected. That was why that happened. Not that they were affected, but we just want to make sure people were aware. So we also continued testing operations. That's been going on every day since last Wednesday for sure, and before that. We're trying to test some focused areas, trying to help get data for Dr. Dodd to help us understand what is going on. We continue to put in tanks throughout identified areas. We're up to 33 total as of tonight, 25 from the incident management team side, and then 8 from the social services side. So those are still ongoing. We'll have a couple more going in tomorrow, and we'll keep focusing on that as we move forward. As of yesterday, a lot of you should have received phone calls from staff providing you with your test results. That's going to continue every day. So every time we get test results, just so you know, it takes about 2 days for us to get the result from the time they take the sample from your house. So sometime in about 2 days after that, you should get a call with someone providing your test results so you can keep up to date on what it's showing at your house. I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Dodd. She's has a presentation. Dr. Dodd is a hydrologist who we are consulting with. She has also done work in this area with the city before, so she's familiar with our area and kind of with this aquifer and what's going on. So I'll turn it over to her.
Hi, everyone. This is Angie Dodd. Can you see my, I hope everyone's doing well. Can you see my screen? I'm sharing a PowerPoint presentation. And can you hear me?
Okay, that's better. Go ahead, Angie.
Okay, so you all can hear me?
Yes.
Okay, and can you see the presentation I have shared?
Yes, we can.
Okay. So good evening, everyone. I've been hired to assist with evaluating the aquifer and the groundwater impacts for the Robin Lane incident. What you see on the screen here is the area of kind of these, I don't know, you probably can't see can you see my mouse?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
So this is basically just a rough sketch of the study area, the spill. The rupture occurred here, and this is kind of the extent of the surface spill area that I observed from aerial imagery. Everything occurred within the Burns Valley groundwater basin, which I'm outlining right now with my mouse, and basically within the alluvial aquifer of the Burns Valley basin. This aquifer is primarily composed of just stream, channel, gravel, and adjacent floodplain deposits of the Burns Valley Creek and adjacent unnamed creeks. I went through, so there's a bunch of well completion reports. There's the majority of wells within this area are domestic wells drilled in the shallow alluvium, and consistently the reports describe the alluvium as layers of gravel and clay, where the layers of gravel are the water-bearing layers. And looking at the well completion reports, the thickness is where everyone is kind of connected to is 100 feet or less. The thickness lessens as you get closer to the lake. Groundwater in the domestic wells is essentially unconfined water, and as I said, domestic multiple times, primarily used for domestic purposes. This is just another visual of the Burns Valley aquifer, or sorry, Burns Valley groundwater basin, the kind of the study area, as well as an outline of the spill area on the surface, which you can see better here. So what I did is I looked at Google imagery not Google imagery, pardon me, the aerial imagery and videos that were taken on the day of the spill to kind of delineate where I saw surface water ponding. And this is kind of this is my beautiful drawing of the extent of where I saw surface water. And then I've done extensive in-depth analysis of all the water quality samples to get an idea of how this plume is moving through the aquifer. So these are the general paths that I'm seeing of movement. So we have one that's kind of generally going to the east and then down through the aquifer. And this one's directly from the spill going down into the west. So one thing that I was able to do based on when samples were taken and mapping the data and going through each multiple sample results at individual locations to get an idea of the plume direction and how things are moving. So I looked at the days kind of after the spill and when samples were taken to get an idea of where the plume is going. It's kind of follows the sampling efforts over time. And these directions are based on what I'm seeing in terms of elevated bacteria samples. So this is on January 12th, after one day, and then you can kind of see January 14th after 3 days, and then kind of extending after 5 days. And then the sample results continuously pretty much show the plume kind of in this area after about 21 days. I'll just leave it on that effort or on that for now. I've had some challenges in reviewing the data. The first challenge I've had is, there's no baseline information in this aquifer on what we're seeing in general. Shallow groundwater wells are particularly vulnerable to contamination because they intersect the part of the aquifer system that is closest to the land surface, meaning it's less protected by natural barriers. So shallow wells are and the water quality in shallow aquifer are strongly affected by local land use activities. For example, septic systems, livestock, agricultural operations, road and land runoff after rain events. And prior to this event, there was quite a bit of rain in the valley. It was, I think, through January 5th or 6th, there was over 5 inches over 5 days, most of it coming on the 5th of January. During rain events in shallow aquifers, we see this quite often. Things are mobilized and we expect higher concentrations of contaminants in well water, which makes it difficult to separate, what's naturally occurring or how the aquifer naturally behaves versus, what was affected by the spill. Shallow groundwater wells are vulnerable because they are close to contamination sources. They're usually poorly buffered by geology and often inadequately protected by certain types of construction sources. All of this makes it difficult for me to really ascertain baseline conditions. So I'm just assuming if I see elevated levels of bacteria that, there's something going on in that direction. In general, when I think of, wells in an aquifer like this, I have general things that I always recommend. First, I recommend regular testing of your well water with or without an incident happening. And I recommend that at least once a year. And usually the best time to test is after a significant rain event when things are moving in the aquifer. So if you have a rain event of an inch or more, that's usually a good time to sample the water in your well. And then as a standard practice, I also recommend treatment, especially at the point of entry into your house. So we usually call that an outside point or just the point of entry. And then having your wells maintained and inspected on a regular basis is also good practice. Shallow wells can be impacted by poor construction, lack of maintenance, lack of a proper annular seal, not having proper casing, cracks, certain things like that could affect your well and the water quality in your well. And then warning signs if you are having issues with water quality in your well. Obviously, if you have any taste, if there's any odor, if you have turbid water be issues. Definitely positive bacteria test results can indicate something going on with your well. If you have nitrate concentrations approaching or exceeding health limits. If you have frequent pump failures, or if you see sediment in your water, if you see low water levels, there could be something going on. And then definitely if you have a well that's constructed in a way that it gets submerged or overtopping by surface water, that could then open a pathway to contaminants getting in your well, and you'd want your wellhead protected to avoid that. So those are just general things that I'm seeing in this aquifer. And then when I'm looking at well logs and seeing how wells are constructed, just my general recommendations to protect yourself for drinking water, domestic purposes. So I'm here if anyone has any questions.
Okay, thank you, Angie. So before we get into any questions, I'm going to talk a little bit about what's the plan from here. So, you know, we heard a lot of concerns and ideas last week. We listened to those. We've been talking, discussing, considering a lot of things. As you know, testing teams have been working a lot. We had 4 to 5 teams out throughout the weekend, doing a lot of testing, and big thanks to Highlands Water in particular for stepping in. They were able to cover a lot of the shifts that we needed to do a lot of testing and make sure there wasn't a break over the weekend. We even had a setback with the lab we've been using. They got an overuse of their equipment, I guess, and broke. So we had to switch to a different lab so that we could continue testing throughout the weekend. Fortunately, the lab's back up and rolling as of, I guess, Sunday. So we've been analyzing the additional test results, consulting with a number of experts, including Dr. Dodd. And, you know, I think our conclusion at this point is the path to the aquifer being clear, to the extent that our team and public health are comfortable saying your water is safe to drink again, for most properties at least, is going to be an extended period of time, possibly months. And, you know, I do want to say that we do intend to determine what areas can be connected to a public water system and have that discussion with the community about whether there's interest in doing that. But that process is undoubtedly going to take years, and that's not something that we can rely on in the short term. So we plan to offer each impacted residents a whole house filtration and sanitation system that includes sediment and carbon filters and a UV filter. This system is NSF ANSI 55 Class A UV system that's certified for drinking water and has been approved by Environmental Health and Public Health for this purpose. These systems are specifically designed to disinfect water that may be microbiologically unsafe, which is obviously the main issue here. Class A system, I'm sure many of you will, you know, be checking this out, which is great. As opposed to a Class B system, also includes safe monitoring and alarm systems to alert a homeowner if there's some issue with the disinfection system that needs to be addressed. Well, just let me go through this and then we'll address all your questions, okay? We felt like we had settled this plan several days ago. Unfortunately, we found that it's actually incredibly difficult to find a large volume of these systems. And fortunately today, around noontime, we were able to identify 100 available in a short period of time that we believe at this point should arrive as soon as the end of next week. Now, this is a tentative schedule. They're coming out of Canada. We also learned that apparently the Canadians are pretty much the only people who manufacture these type of systems. There's some concern about how many days it may take to clear customs and so on and so forth. So I'm giving you kind of our proposed timeline, but just understand that this is tentative. because I'm sure you're all wanting to know. At this point, the information that we have, we're expecting to need approximately 150 of these units. So we have 100 that are available that will be hopefully shipped very soon. And the additional 50 units may need an additional couple of weeks before they can be here locally. So along with that, we are working to identify contractors that will install those units in each home that chooses to receive one. We intend to work with a large number of general contractors to complete those installs as soon as possible. There is a link on our website that just went up in the last hour or so. We have some QR codes that we can share with you before you leave. You can, find it on the website as well, but this is set up so that you can go right on the website, put your address in, let us know that you would like to have one of these systems. And so that we can get you on the list and get installs happening as soon as possible. The county will be covering the cost of the systems that they install, just in case there's any questions. I did want to point out there'll be more information provided on this, of course, during the install process, but these systems do require some maintenance, and that will be on you as a property owner to continue to maintain those systems and make sure they're operational. We've talked about tanks a little bit. They've been installed at nearly every home that has communicated to us that they want one and has experienced elevated test results. We have prioritized if there's been a lot of non-detect test results, so we have not prioritized tanks at that location up to this point. But we do understand that these systems, while we believe this is the best sort of short and medium-term solution here, they will all not be delivered and installed immediately. If there is interest in still having a tank installed, you can also, at the same location on our website, there's a form to request a tank. We will look at your test results and determine if it makes sense to do that. So we have been able to identify an additional supply of tanks. A supplier that has 52 tanks available for us right now can be here within a few days. We ordered additional 7 today. We'll be working on finding locations for those. The right of entry agreements that some of you are familiar with are included in this application. You can do it all online now to make it easy and quick. I did want to quickly point out, I know there's been some questions about the right of entry agreements. These are specifically to allow access for someone to install this on your property. It doesn't cover other things. That's the purpose of this agreement. And one of those will be required for installation of a tank or the filtration and sanitization system. A little bit more about testing. We're going to continue the testing program, a little bit more of a strategic basis. We spent the last week and a half getting the largest volume of tests for coverage throughout the area that we could. We don't think that is probably necessary over the long term. This has primarily been to educate Dr. Dodd on the situations out there and determine the overall aquifer impacts, which we feel like we have a decent perspective on it. That testing, as you probably know, is total coliform and E. coli has been the focus. We have, there's some questions about this last week. We have done tests on a number of other contaminants. Those tests are more complicated. They have to be done by labs outside of the county. Those results will be coming in over the next few days to educate what other contaminants that there may need to be a concern about. If you've not had a test lately and you would like to have one, please reach out to us. We're adding test requests to our testing plan every day based on your requests. So feel free to reach out and say, hey, I haven't had a test for a while and I would like to have one. And we will be reviewing test results on parcels that are within the zones, and there have been a very long series of non-detects from the beginning. It's possible that those properties will be released individually. We don't have the same perspective as we did last week with 2 non-detects and then moving on from there. But there are some parcels that have never had a detection from the tests, and those likely are not impacted. So, and then the last thing on that, we do plan to test after the filtration is installed to confirm that the systems are working correctly. And then a few things related to just information. Hopefully you're all familiar with the website and the daily updates that we're putting out. As the undersheriff mentioned, we contacted nearly everyone yesterday to share test results. We did discover in that process that we have, I don't know, a dozen maybe incorrect phone numbers or no contact information for some addresses. So if you have not received contact from the city, please let us know so that we can update that contact information and make sure that we can connect with you. And, you know, I know we have received some requests of, I showed you last time, we talked a little bit about, I think the test results that we get are probably not what you initially expected. There's not an enormous amount of information there. It's just the number itself. But there's been some requests for some type of paper or whatever that has combined test results for your parcel on it. And if that's something that's of interest from all of you, we're willing to work on putting that together. So again, stressing that this is our current and tentative plan. We've seen our plans change significantly from day to day based on information that we've been receiving. So we're sharing this with you tonight because we believe this plan is going to happen, but it is possible that some of this and the timeline may change. So with that, I think we are ready to address any questions.
And again, my name is Lauren Berlin. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Lake County Sheriff's Office. I'll be walking around. I will try to get to everybody in the order you put your hands up. 2 things: we can keep the side chatter down so that everyone can hear the question and the answer. Also, the mic is for the Zoom attendants. I know we can all hear each other in the room. However, if you do have a follow-up, please allow me to get back to you with the mic when they have finished their answer. Okay, straight in the front.
The water filtration systems that you're talking about, they're gonna be hooked up to the wells, to our wells.
Well, they'll be hooked up between your well and your house. I think, you know, there's going to need to, it's not going to be the exact same situation for everyone's property, but yeah.
Okay. Good.
Mhm.
So they've been prepping me for a tank, a small tank, through social services because of my age and all of that good stuff. But my well has not tested bad. The chloride has been, the first time was 4, the second time it was 2.1, and then it's been undetected for E. coli the whole time. And I just had 2 tests done. Today and yesterday.
Well, from my perspective, you know, we'd be happy to talk specifically about your property related to that. I mean, you know, what we've seen, we do have concerns now with more information about just 2 negative tests and then assuming that you're clear. So we want to look at that before. And I know public health would have concerns about that. So happy to talk to you more about your property specifically. Yeah, if you could share your ringers off, that'd be great.
My question is, first question is it confirmed that we're not testing every well every day anymore? So is that correct?
Correct.
Right, because we haven't had ours tested in over a week, so I have to go onto the website to request a test now. Is that what we're doing?
If you want to request a test, you can just call the city and share your address with Jessica, whoever answers the phone at the front, and let us know that you want to test.
Yeah. As some of you know, especially folks that receive tanks, the power was robbed from the well in order to power you guys' pumps from the tanks. So some of your wells have been rendered untestable at the moment. I'm working with the pump company right now to actually identify those so that we can return the wells to a sampling ability. So we can actually collect samples out of some of these wells. So if you have a well that doesn't have power, or you now have a tank, and the well is disconnected to the point we can't collect a sample, because there are a few of those out there. You know that we are trying to get back out there and get those samples done as well. It just takes a little bit more work and more parts and more money to get your well ready so that we can make those collections happen. Oh, see, I caught you on the other end of the table.
Trying to sneak in water.
Thought I talked more.
My main question is, she was stating that we're more shallow or more susceptible to contamination. What?
I can speak.
The answer is very shallow. I think, when we talked with Angie, the average well depth is about 74 feet. And they range anywhere between 34 feet to 140 feet. Basically anything less than 100 feet is considered a very shallow well. And likely susceptible to, surface water intrusions and things like that.
Behind you.
Just a question on these units, how big are they? Because I noticed a lot of the well houses are really small in our area, so some of us may have to adjust. Pump houses, like some of them are like 4x4x4s, some of them are 12 by 12 by 10 feet high, but so how big are these units?
Very scientific.
The best one's that big. I don't know that we have the exact, requirements. They will come as one combined unit with the, sediment filter, the carbon filter, and the UV filter all as one package. And not everyone has well houses either, so there's gonna have to be other combinations, but, the ones that we've seen, I think are one.
The pre-filters use the very, very common filter size. It's a 20-inch filter. So it's approximately 4 inches in diameter, about 20 inches tall. So including that with the filter housing, you're looking at right around 24, 25 inches. And about 6 inches wide with the rack. The UV reactor is anywhere between 20 and 26 inches in length. And then width-wise, it's under 4 inches, and that's going to be included in that rack. So you can think somewhere around 20 to 24 inches wide, another 24 inches tall. So the small well houses should not be a problem at all.
Social service, thank you for your time, you guys have listened to us, thank you, to you guys as well. You made a statement earlier about who has priority over the new system. And you were talking about people who, wells have been high level. Can we make an exception to those who have a disabled child in their house as well? As a priority as well? I have a young daughter who we just amputated her leg. We're getting ready to remove parts of her lungs next month. And I don't have her at my house right now because she is, has low immune system right now, compromised immune system. And so she's staying at her place. So I'm just asking a quick question. I understand that people have priorities, but could you put it in there too, as well as, somebody who's disabled at this time?
Thank you. So are you talking about the tank or the system?
Talk about the system itself.
Okay, yeah, we'll have to, there is a form to fill out. So, and I think you can make some notes on there, so let us know the information and we'll kind of prioritize things that way to evaluate.
Where's that format?
It's on city website.
It's on the website?
Yeah, so, and the other thing I want to point out, we don't have all the logistics worked out yet, but our plan is not for this to take 3 months to do the install. You know, if we can get 20 general contractors that can go out and do this all in, 10 days or 2 weeks, that's what we're gonna try to do.
Oh, absolutely. Okay. No, sorry, I didn't make the last meeting, so these may be dumb questions of it. But with the testing you're doing now, can you say that the spread of it has slowed at least, or completely, you've got it more or less contained? And I have. Great. Let's say, well, and, just a couple, and with the wells that can't be tested, just while you guys are speaking, I was thinking maybe they could carry a generator with them, power them up, test them, move on your way. Let's see, I have enough. Sorry. Oh, and the two, labs, are you gonna use both of them? Together? And one more question, the permitting process for these water systems, will that be, I don't know, a way to really speed it up? Or just say, hey, it's an emergency, let's just get the work done? Oh, and I'm willing to help, I'm retired, help our community in any way.
I'll take the last one. Related to the permit thing. Yes, it is an emergency. These type of systems don't really need a permit of the electrical related stuff. So yeah, we will make sure that there's not a lot of red tape in the way of that. And then we'll turn over to Dr. Dodd to discuss the first question, which was, what are you seeing related to the spread, and is it continuing to spread and I guess getting worse
Or better.
or better?
I can answer number 2.
Go ahead, Dr. Dodd, if you are ready.
Yeah, just let me know. Craig, do you want me to go first?
Go ahead, Dr. Dodd.
Yeah, so I'm generally seeing things decrease, and the plume slowing down. I'm waiting for some more samples in other areas. I gave some recommendations over the weekend of where I want to see samples taken, so I have a better idea of what's going on. But in general, I'm seeing numbers go down, and I'm seeing the spread lessen. So for example, in area, I think it's area zone C1, it's the one south of A1 and B1, I'm seeing much lower sample results in that area, for sure. And so it's slowing down, and it really didn't get much in C1. And then I'm seeing in A1 and to the west a little bit, I'm seeing things lessen. So I want more results so I can be more confident, but I'm definitely seeing things go down and things slowing down.
I'll take question number 2, which had to do with why don't we just carry a generator around? That's exactly what we're going to be doing. So good thinking. I was out in the field today with one of the pump contractors and my team taking a look at some of these sites to get a better understanding of what we need. In some cases, it's literally just a matter of creating a temporary plug on the pump that we can then plug in. Because right now it's just hardwire sticking out, looking like wire. And the last thing anybody wants me to do is connect their electrical. I am Tim Allen from Home Improvement, for those of you. I will electrocute myself and everybody around me. So we will have the contractors actually helping us set up. The other thing is we're going to be very careful about this. I don't want to burn out your pump. I want to use people who that's their skill set. And we're going to make sure that they set it up in a safe way so that my team can come in, plug it into the generator, take the sample, walk away, not accidentally leave it running, burn out the pump, and now we have a big problem with dealing with that. We don't want to increase the problem. We're looking to decrease the problem. So that is exactly what we're looking to do, is make those repairs. For wells that don't have testing tabs, for example, we're gonna build temporary testing tabs so that we can get it done quickly and efficiently, get this information to Dr. Dodd so that she can do her analysis, analyze, and get it done. So that's what we're trying to do. So good.
Great. There was a question about the labs, right?
Yes.
The two labs, using our labs.
Yes. Oh, yes, both labs. So the lab that we use here in Lake County, yeah, okay, I'm a little bit biased. I like to keep money in Lake County. So there's that. It's a local lab, so we want to use them. They're only certified to do bacteriological testing. They cannot do the chemical or mineral testing that we are currently doing. So we do have to go to an outside contract lab for that. The outside contract lab is the backup as well for the back tees if we had trouble like we did on Saturday. So they were immediately, we just changed the direction the car was driving and drove them down there right away. So they're already a backup lab that we work with on a regular basis. But they just have a lot more tasting capability for some of the more complex ones that we are now doing for Dr. Dodd. And they can turn those around quickly.
And the testing time is kind of half.
Testing time, I'm sorry, what?
Like sample time to get the samples to Napa take about half of it.
Yeah.
It's cut in half.
Right. If we don't have to drive to Napa, we don't want to drive to Napa. I'd rather drive to Lakeport so we can get those things turned around quickly. But if we do have to go to Napa, we'll do that too. It's whatever we have to do to get the job done.
I do.
Right.
I'm gonna go to one more.
So you're saying that it's slowing down. What if we get significant rain? Is that affected or? I don't know, I'm just asking.
Dr. Dodd?
Yeah.
Dr. Dodd, will turn that over to you.
Well, definitely, my intuition, if we get rain, so we'll see dilution, but we'll also see mobilization of what's already there in the aquifer. So after a rain event, we're gonna want to continue sampling to see what things look like.
Can anybody tell me what the physical boundaries of this marshal fluid actually are?
Dr. Dodd?
So the physical boundaries, I can just show you what the sample results are indicating to me. And that last slide that I had kind of shows the general range of where I'm seeing elevated levels from the sample results. And so that's the general plume kind of extent. And I can share my screen if you want me to do that again.
Not necessary. I already saw that. I was talking about the geographic boundary of this aquifer.
Yeah, and if you want to share, why don't you just put your screen back up again, because it was showing right there on the slide, the couple.
Let me. Yep. Give me one moment and I will share my screen.
Technology.
Can you see this right here?
Yes.
Okay, so this is the groundwater basin. So the extent is really the alluvial, and you'll see it eventually it'll get into the areas where people are on public water systems. It'll dilute and migrate kind of this direction. This is a physical barrier to the south. Can you see my mouse? What are the?
Is there a landmark so I can see? I see the boundary. I just don't know where it's at for my own.
Can you show Highway 53?
Yep, it's right here. Highway 53 is running right along that side there. So as you curve on old 53 or a regular 53, it's literally following along.
Okay.
So that's the old highway, and then is this? I think this is Rumsey right here.
All right.
Does that give you a better idea?
South of Olympic Drive.
Yes.
Yes.
South of
It reaches all the way to the lake.
That's sort of the southern boundary as it goes over towards the lake. It would be close to Olympic Drive. Yes.
All right, well, thank you. That was it. That's what I needed.
Okay.
Speaking of rain, curious about the pumps that we had installed. I heard they were water repellent, but not waterproof. So is it our responsibility to cover those if they're going to get any extents of rain, period?
Can you talk about the
the submersible pumps that are running tanks?
The pumps that are running the tanks, they're external outside the tank right now. Outside. That's terrible.
You're talking about the 3/4 horse booster pump that the contractor installed. You were exactly right. It is water resistant, but it's not waterproof. It would be a good idea to cover those.
Well, it hasn't rained yet, so we're still.
Yeah, we will double check that with the contractor who did install that. And get you a better recommendation. And then once we have that recommendation, we will post it on the FAQs.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Just one more question, in regards to these multiple people who are testing the wells. I've seen a couple of them turn the water on at the well for 2 minutes. Others have done it for 20 minutes. Others have done it for 5 minutes. Is there a set protocol? So we're all on the same page to get an accurate, reading on our wells?
I can answer that. Yes. So the protocol is, the very first thing they have to do is go in and bleach the bed. And they have to let that sit there for 2 minutes. That's the contact time requirement for that bleach. Then after the bleach is dried, 2 minutes later, they come in, they start running the pump for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. So if somebody comes in and they're there for 30 seconds, let me know.
Thank you. Well, I need to hear.
Yeah, absolutely. And then after the 5 minutes, they will actually turn off the pump and capture the last dribble that's coming out of there. And then make sure that the pump is turned off so we're not burning out pumps.
So I need to hear. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. This question is for Dr. Dodge. Craig, I noticed you said that a shallow well is 100 feet or less. But I'd like to know from Dr. Dodge, what is a shallow aquifer depth, in your opinion?
Yes, so I base it, so what the information for Burns Valley says, it's that the thickness is maximum of 50 feet down at the lake. What I did is I reviewed all the well completion reports in that area, and I got the estimate based on where I'm seeing the kind of gravel clay alluvium. And Craig, the numbers he quoted were what I got directly from the logs. So I'm seeing that the alluvium in there is less than 100 feet. So I would estimate the thickness between 0 and 100 feet in that area where you all are at. And it just varies a little bit from there.
Thank you.
Yeah, one of the requests I used to ask is when you guys were putting out the water tanks, people would call in and they had no list of where they would be on the list. Now that we're talking about being even more proactive, putting a bunch of people on a bigger list, is there a way that we can have an elder, have somebody like me call in? Because we got 80-year-olds trying to go from a smartphone or an to an iPod or an iPad or a smartphone. I'm going to tell you that's not the easiest thing, right? So I just want to be question, can we be more proactive and have a wish list from, hey, my neighbor wants to know where she's at on the list. Can you give me a base number and where she sits? That's all.
Well, I would say that we could try, we've had, a lot of sort of shifting around that, and it's been kind of difficult to track because we'll send contractors out with a list on where to go that day with the priorities, and then someone decides they're not sure if they want one or they don't want to sign the ROE, and then they call back up, oh, we need 3 more locations for tanks. So it's really difficult to pin it down like that. If everyone on the priority list had already signed the ROE and was ready to roll, it would be relatively easy for us to do that. So, I can commit to try to share where someone is on the list, but it is sometimes a moving target.
And it goes back and it'll come to the front.
So, when we sign the paperwork to receive our tanks, we were told that we need to maintain them and keep up on them. We have never received anything to basically tell us what we need to do to upkeep these tanks and these pumps.
We signed it and Robin had to sign and then we were gonna get the copies back and I've asked a few times and they're supposed to come out to us, but we don't know what to do with the maintenance part that we're in charge of.
Also, one other thing is, I have not received anything where, anything is put on my property from the water that has, for the sewage that is spilled. And in the recent couple days, I have one under my house and underneath my house is wet. And, going under there is no leaks coming from my house of any sort. So is there anybody that's gonna come and maybe test underneath people's houses, check and see if there is any leakage underneath anybody's houses, anything that maybe has surfaced from underneath?
How do we get cleaning agents in general, just from the beginning catastrophe? We may have been home, not home and not approved it with dogs outside, I'm not sure. I spoke to a few people that we needed, children and animals.
Can I get your address?
283-5 Robin Lane. It's the drop zone where all the.
So we can, work on sending someone out to do an assessment to look at that and then try to address that issue. With the other part regarding taking care of the tanks, we'll make sure if it's not already, we're on our FAQs, got something on the website, so it talks about how to clean the tanks.
For us that's received our water tanks, what happens to those tanks once our well becomes perfect again? What happens to those 1,500 and 2,500 gallon tanks?
My things, please keep them. If you got a tank from social services, please keep it. I don't want it back.
What she said. Those are yours. So those tanks and the equipment that came with it, that's yours. It's not a rental, it doesn't need to be returned. Those are yours. That's your property.
How long does that water in that tank stay good? Once the.
They'll keep coming.
I can answer that.
Again, on caring for the tanks and the water, and we'll put something out on our FAQs that talk about that and what needs to be done to maintain them. There was a big sheet we can put out there.
And the bank action was cities.
So once you guys' well is back online, treatment system and all that, the tank will then just be incorporated into your system so that you actually will have backup water all the time at that point. It'll be part of your system. It'll receive treated water from the treatment system, go into your tank for storage purposes, and it'll pump directly into your home from that tank. So it can be plumbed permanently if that's something you want to do, or if you don't want it to be plumbed permanently, you want to use it for fire water, do that. Or if you just want to go swimming in it, don't do that.
Fine. Thanks, but.
Working with Albert. Yeah, Albert, wherever you're in. Yeah, it searched under our house and completely soaked all our. Surf broken out today, they do assessment, they crawl into the house. Samples, a lot of pictures. Took moisture tests inside the house. Just have to wait for the results of that since it only happened today. But I was wondering where's the plan for remediation? I mean, I don't know how that works. Are they gonna actually dig out soil, crawl around under my house? And I mean, I've heard they can set off like a chlorine bomb under the house to kill everything under there. That sounds fun.
It was now.
Wait for the answer first.
Use the answer. Use the answer.
I was being distracted.
Michael?
Sure. Hold it, questions down.
I will give you all the information tomorrow. Each location is a little bit different. The houses are a little bit different. Yours has the add-on. So once we figure that out, we'll communicate with you and we'll figure out what we're going to do. You know, we had to call somebody in from out of the county because I called restoration management to get certified people in the county and it was very sparse. So I called somebody from out of the county. We have to have someone else come in and look at that too.
Yeah, I was just.
Yeah. Well, you'll know.
What the timeline was.
Yeah, they just messaged me before I came in with a couple of videos and they said tomorrow we'll have the results.
Okay.
Do you know yet what the voltage is on the UV filters?
And
110.
It's powered by 110 volts, so your standard 110, 120 residential service will power it just fine.
Because some wells are on a 220 service.
Yeah, and that's fine. The contractor will be able to either add an existing outlet. So if there's 220 there, that means there's two 110s there.
20, yes. Yeah.
Good math.
Thank you.
So given the admission that incorrect procedures or testing were used earlier in this response, can you clearly state what exactly was incorrect with the testing and how that error was identified and what safeguards are you guys currently in place to prevent the same mistake from happening again? Because we need to have accurate results in order to know what's happening. So.
I'm gonna start. That was a headline in a couple of newspapers, but that message did not come from us, that was the case. Our message was that we wanted to make sure that there was more consistent and comprehensive testing. And the testing teams follow the procedures or are supposed to follow the procedures that are outlined by environmental health around that. And I will see if Craig might just give us a refresher on what those are.
So in any sampling event, no matter what you're sampling, whether you're sampling uranium cake or bacteriological, you have to follow the protocol in order to ensure the integrity of the data. So we have been following the protocol provided to us by the laboratory. And we have had multiple people come in, they get trained on what that protocol is. It was reported that we were doing the wrong tests. We are doing the exact same test today that we were doing on day 2. The BACT test is the standard test for tracking sewage, and those tests have been consistent in what has started and what we are continuing to do today. We have added additional tests at the request of Dr. Dodd because she wants to track some other movements as well to confirm her analysis. So we are doing additional testing. We just did ammonia, nitrate, and nitrite testing at her request. Those are a little bit more complicated, they take a little more time, but those have been done as well.
I'm getting text on Zoom basically that they can't find a QR code. Where would you find QR code for the tank and for the other thing? They said it's not on the website. Maybe there's a wrong website. But if we can make it clearer, maybe put on a screen so someone else can take a picture of it.
Website should be updated. It's on the top of the response website. If we can't put it on, we will. However, if you go to that website, there should be 2 options for you, both the flyer that was going to be distributed tonight, that we do have in the front here as a physical copy, and then also on the website itself. So on the website, there's the online portal access information. As you can see, number 3, if you click that, you'll go to the 2 applications. They are individual applications. Please make sure you're selecting the correct one.
Thank you.
How can we get the same people to come in back to test our wells instead of having 15 different people going on one problem?
That is an outstanding question, and I'm going to give you a disappointing answer. I apologize for that. There are senior environmental health specialists
Thank you.
in the county of Lake. We have been a resource request that went out for operators to assist us. So we've had folks from City of Lakeport, City of Ukiah, Call Water. Basically, we brought in every water operator we could, people who were qualified to take these tests. We try to reuse as many people as we can, but they are loaned to us from their agencies to do this. So we work with whatever boots they give us, and we do the best work we can. I have 2 inspectors who have consistently been in the field since day one. Ashley and Cheryl have done an absolute bang up job. They work really hard and they try to be consistent, but they also have to cover a lot of ground too. So we can't always promise you're going to get the same tester every time. Sometimes you're going to get a new crew. However, for security purposes, and I'll just reiterate this to you, if anybody shows up to your house to take a sample, ask them who they are. If they work for us, they will be able to identify themselves and provide a badge or a county ID card or some sort of identification letting you know. If you are dubious at any point in time, if somebody is with us, call City of Clear Lake, let them know you have somebody there that wants to do samples and you want to confirm that they are in fact employed by us. That is absolutely good security practice, and I highly encourage everybody to ask those questions.
Thank you.
No.
That's not funny.
Hey, it's funny.
Sorry, Alan. Is it possible to, when you do the QR code, to move the Robin Stewart to the top? Because you kind of have to search for it. I skipped right through it. If it's at the very top, make it easier. And then when I went to the website and went to the main area, it looked like the QR code was gone.
QR code on the website is redundant.
Okay, well then,
I know we get on.
I thought I had to click on it or something, because I couldn't get to where the applications were from going through the Robin Spill area.
Right.
I guess I missed that one too. So my question is, I thought it was gonna be along the lines of, the gentleman down there that was speaking about some of our seniors that, struggle with, access to technology. I know social services has been doing a really bang up job of contacting all of the seniors that are out there. Are we, and this. If you meet Tara, she'll be your best friend.
Yes.
So, are we anticipating social services to be the liaison? Majority of the folks that are seniors out there, just in case, no offense to the seniors, that they're not technologically savvy in order to sign up online. Just wanted to make sure that they had the same capability of submitting their applications as quickly as everyone else.
I was already whispering to Tara to do that.
Good question.
Yes. You're link. I'm not taking.
Well, obviously you love these guys, which we understand. That's fine, but, if you want to contact the city or come down here, we have a public computer out there. We're happy to, additionally help anyone through the process.
It was just, if we're out in the field and you see her, Tara would also be happy to help you out in the field if that's cool with everybody. Absolutely. Awesome.
I'm wondering if you're going to be providing the cost of all the maintenance for these systems, these filtration systems. As you said, it's gonna be our responsibility to keep them.
Just want to make sure I understand the question. So once it's installed, any maintenance after that, you were asking about if we are going to provide any of the stuff that's required for the maintenance of it?
Then on the homeowner, right? So you're putting in these filtration systems and then we are to, maintain them, right? So how much do the filters cost? What's the maintenance? Like, is all that going to be provided to us before we even agree to filter?
That's something we can try and do. We don't have that in front of us tonight, but we'll put it in the FAQs, so it's out there.
A new voice.
Is every well that draws from the aquifer eligible for a sanitization system? One, and then two, what about the folks that have agricultural wells on their property? I know some of those aren't being tested. Are those gonna also be eligible because they have livestock? And then I know some people are they grow their own food and they haven't been able.
Yeah.
These are for wells that are connected to a residence.
For ones that are in the identified zones. If you live in that affected zone, then you would be eligible for it.
Well, I mean, there's been some questions about, around the ag question. We've been referring people to the UC Davis extension or the ag commissioner's office over in Lakeport.
Is a public question for the social services ladies. I know you're probably aware of the Hispanic woman on Pamela, disabled son. I've been helping her, and you guys have someone through a crisis center that's helping. Are you guys gonna give her this information or for me to do that and keep putting my friend at work? But I know you guys have helped a lot. So will she get this information for what are we getting in the UV?
I can't talk about specific people specifically, but I can say in general, yes, if we've been in contact with someone, we'll continue to help.
Thank you. Very sorry.
I just want to circle back to the testing question. So as I'm understanding, you're saying that there were no incorrect procedures or testing that was done. Because when environmental health called me yesterday, it was their results. They said that 2 of the tests were taken from the spigot, 2 of them were taken from the well tap. So that's already an inconsistency, as well as I'd already shared this last city hall that our water softener and our filtration was still attached. So I'm trying to understand the correlation between saying that there wasn't incorrect testing when there was. So.
Yeah, everybody's well house, everybody's well, everybody's equipment is unique and different. And environmental health specialists are not plumbers. They do not know your equipment. They do not know your setup. They don't know the condition of your well when they get there. Sampling is generally done at the well whenever possible. Modern wells typically have a tap incorporated them right at the point of the well extraction. That wasn't always the case for older wells. Some have absolutely no tap at all, in which case we have to take from a tap that's the closest to the well and try to eliminate as many factors as we can. If we take from closer to the well, then we have to draw more water, right? Because we got to clear all those pipes in between where the well is to where that tap is. We've had this complicated, and this is probably where this, it's not error, it's just complications. When you have somebody, I see you squint your eyes, I get it. When you have one person who comes out, one team, and they pull from the tap, it doesn't make the test invalid. It just means they took the selection from a different point. They still have to clear those pipes with the protocol. They still have to do the bleaching of that bib. They still have to wait those 2 minutes and they do the 5-minute pull or possibly even a 7-minute pull if they're further away from the well in order to ensure we're getting the pull from the actual pump itself. If they're taking it directly from the well house where there's a tap or a bib available, that's always the priority to get it there. But yes, different teams occasionally will pull from a different spot. We've been trying to make sure we stay consistent, but just because they pull from a different tap does not make the test invalid. It just means, what's that?
Say it wasn't valid. I just said incorrect procedures for testing.
Well, it's not really an incorrect procedure either, right? As long as they are following the testing protocol, the procedure provided by the lab, then that test is still usable.
Like being hooked up to a filtration system?
Yeah, the filtration system, again, I've not seen your well. I haven't been to your house. I'll come visit you. I have no problem.
Our tests have been different. That's what she's saying, like.
Yeah.
Every single time it's something different.
Yeah.
Consistency.
I see what you're saying.
That's what she's saying.
I'll tell you what, I'll come visit you. We'll do lunch.
Right. I'll give you a glass of water.
I'll drink it.
Everybody else thought that was fun.
I know you're all dogs are excited.
Yes, I heard you talk about, that it has expanded out a little bit more, and I was wondering if you were gonna tell us where it has expanded.
Well, I mean, you can see these updated maps over here show the expanded area. And it covers the area that Dr. Dodge showed on her maps with the arrows on where the plume was moving. And this was talked about a little bit briefly. I mean, we don't expect the footprint to increase anymore beyond this based on the test results we've seen, as well as the south and western sides of this are really bordered by public water systems. South primarily Highlands, and then you go directly west from this, it gets into Golden State's area, and so there's not the same concern with private wells at all.
So there's been approximately 164 occupied homes that have been identified, so that's about 31 tanks that have been installed as of now, if I'm not mistaken. That's 81% of homes that do not have usable well water that are still without water. So what is the timeline? You know, what are we doing to provide this water for full coverage, and who's making the decisions to stagger this installation, and why is that acceptable at day 25? So no water, thank you.
So the staggering, we don't know how that is going to look for installation of these things. We're hopefully going to have them on the ground here in less than 2 weeks. We're going to try and get as many contractors as we can. We hope it goes really fast. We all want it to go fast, believe me. I wish it would be done in a week, but we just don't know. We'll have to make some evaluations with our team to look at the map and try and decide where we should focus first, depending on how many contractors we have. That's all going to be down the road, and we'll try and let people know what we're going to do. As far as the tanks, we're going to continue to purchase tanks as we go. And try to evaluate where those need to go based on testing results. There are a lot of self tanks out there. I know that says 33 tanks is how much we have put out there between the social services and the team. There are a lot of people with their own tanks out there. I don't know that number, but just from us trying to find places, our people have gone out to evaluate for a tank, and they already have one. So I don't know what the number is. There's quite a few out there.
Have you not seen any additional questions?
So Lovely Tara from Social Services has got me set up to have the smaller tank. But my well is not bad. I want the tank. I want my well. I don't. I mean, it's going right in front of my house.
I think I would say that it's an advisory. That's what's put out there of not to use your water, and it's for water and you do what you want, whatever you feel safe doing.
I'm pretty good at holding gallons and filling. Been doing it for a few days.
I'm just curious if you guys have any new information about how much of that $750,000 that was allocated, how much of that's being used, or how much of that's left, or any sort of information or number you can give us about that emergency funds.
I don't have that number sitting right here today. A lot of that funding that's been going out there and being used for all the various things that go with this, with the water supplies up there by special districts, all those trailers, tanks for getting the water deliveries. So a lot of that is very expensive. I don't have the number of how much has been spent. It's very expensive.
There was a question raised that contractors are going to see providing some of this work. Sorry, I'm getting a little aggressive and I'm going by on here, but are the contractors going to be licensed or unlicensed? Because we had some folks volunteering to do some unlicensed work, if that was the case, right? So seriously, what was it?
Absolutely licensed.
You got some out there, Ross?
I believe it was Mark Roberts, if that's his name, told me on the phone that you're gonna develop a schedule to refill the tanks on a regular basis. Will you contact us to let us know what that regular basis?
Yeah, we have a regular schedule laid out for everybody. If you request a certain day, we will certainly get to you on the day that you requested. And if you request a call beforehand, we'll do that as well. That goes for egg water as well.
So my question is, we have our own tank and they came to build it, but things like cooking, showering, getting, pets, water and stuff, that's my top priority for my use of water. How long are the showers and the laundry service going to be available? Because I've been taking my laundry there, because that's the least of my concern. Saving the water in my tank for drinking. So how long are those services going to be available for our?
We don't have a firm date, but we're tracking the usage of that. And I think as long as there's significant usage, it'll still be available. But obviously our primary goal is getting you back to normalcy in your home. So
We'll start getting same. I mean, less and less use there. So.
yeah, I mean, we won't be able to provide you folding service over the long term, unfortunately.
Well, that is wonderful. Yeah, that's very good.
I know all of this is about curing the problem that we're facing right now. My question is when it's all said and done, is there any chance of having an oversight committee keep track of what special districts is doing? Because it's obvious you have 60% of your valves fail all in the same day, that the maintenance really hasn't been done.
And that's really not something we're here to answer or have an answer for you. We're all about the recovery, and that's really our job. Get everyone back in their homes with safe water.
Talk to me.
That would be. Not seeing any additional questions, we do have the information updated on the website. We will be putting out more information as the recovery process is ongoing. If you have questions, reach out to the city and we'll get those questions answered. Thank you all.
I've been out. You know, Victoria, Virginia, you guys.